And please keep it going for Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck. Wow, those are some pretty great stories. Very high bar has been set. On Friday, I'm taking my daughter down to New Orleans to go to start college at Loyola University, which happens to be my alma mater. And this story has to do with a fellow that I knew peripherally in some of my English classes at Loyola. I didn't really know him all that well, but it has to do with meeting him in a strange and foreign land. Summer of 1970. Are there any Van Morrison fans here? There must be some people. Okay. So I was a really big fan of Van Morrison, and I'm taking a class in modern British fiction at the University of London right after I graduated from Loyola. And as I get off the plane, I find a magazine in a magazine stand called Time Out, and I'm paging through it. It's a sort of an entertainment weekly kind of thing for Londoners. And I'm paging through it, and I come to this advertisement that says, Van Morrison live at the Rainbow Theater, and there's a big swatch of letters across the ad, sold out. So I thought, damn, I'm in London, and Van Morrison's playing, and I'd never seen him. This was early 70s, 1973, and he was in his prime, and I thought, oh God, I got to try to go see him. So 2 or 3 weeks into this graduate class, the concert dates are coming up, the 23rd and the 24th of July, and I'm asking the people I've met there, that I know are into Van Morrison, hey, would you like to go down with me, and maybe we can get in line for standing room only tickets? And they all expressed mild interest, but the show's sold out. What's the point? So one of the fellas that I was taking a class with was from Nigeria, and he was really into Van Morrison, and he knew I really wanted to go. And he said, Chuck, I don't have tickets, but I have a couple of his albums. Why don't you come over and we'll play a little chess and we'll listen to some Van Morrison. I thought, wow, okay, yeah, that's a nice evening. So the night of his first show, I'm playing chess with this Nigerian guy, and he pulls out some very nice Nigerian herb, and we're having a little spliff or two, and I don't remember who won the game, but I do remember being transported to another world by Astral Weeks, which is a famous Van Morrison's first solo album. And so the next morning I get up, and there's a London Times review of the Van Morrison show from July 23rd, and it's a rave. And I'm going, damn, okay, I gotta go down. So I'm asking all my friends, won't you please come down with me? I'd really like to, see this concert, and I couldn't get anyone to go. So I get on the tube, an hour before the show, and it's down in East London at this theater called the Rainbow Theater. Now, the Rainbow Theater is very similar to the theater in Upper Darby, the Tower, and it's same configuration, and probably an old movie theater. And I get off the tube, and there's thousands of flower power people all around, and the marijuana is wafting through the air, and it's a really nice vibe. And I glance over, and I notice this. I get to the Tower, and I notice this poster above a door real close to the awning, and it's standing room only line. And then the line goes about 300 yards down the street. So, it's looking pretty bleak that I'm going to get a chance to go see Van Morrison. But I thought, well, I'll just hang around and see how many people are getting into the show, and maybe I'll go stand in line. And just then, the door to the standing room only line opens, and these pale-faced English people turn into Irish soccer hooligans, and they're jammed up in front of the door, and they're muscling each other to try to get in. And I'm feeling like I'm in danger, just standing near them. And so I move a couple feet away, and I'm standing in front of the Rainbow Theater, the doors, and people are coming in, and this guy comes out, and I say, you look really familiar. And he says, you look really familiar. I said, you were in my English class at Loyola University. Now, I'm in London, and I don't really know this guy except that he's been in my classes before. And he said, what are you doing here? And I said, well, I'm taking a class at the University of London. What are you doing here? He said, well, my dad works for Sunoco in England. I'm living here this summer. But what are you doing at the concert? And I said, well, I'd like to get in to see him. I said, well, gee, my girlfriend couldn't go with me tonight. Do you need a ticket? And I said, is the Pope Catholic? Yeah, what do you mean? Do I need a ticket? Yes, of course I need a ticket. Well, come on in. Well, how much do I owe you? Oh, don't worry about it. Well, what's your name? Well, my name's Dyer O'Connor. So I thought, oh, okay. So Dyer takes me up to the balcony. He's got front row seats. We're like 25 yards from Van Morrison, and it's just an unbelievable show. So around, I don't know, 45 minutes into the concert, Dyer also pulls out a doobie, and he says, Chuck, this is really good stuff. You know, it's from Peru, and I have no idea what mountain that blessed marijuana plant was, or how high up to the sun it was, but I got news for you. I have never had anything quite like that. So I'm in the astral plane that Van Morrison is singing about, and it is quite a show. And at one point, Dyer and I are calling out to the stage, because there's a call and response part of the show. And it was just a very, very memorable evening. And I totally forgot about him after that. I lost complete track of him. 6 months later, a very famous live album called It's Too Late to Stop comes out. And I can hear myself shouting at Van Morrison on this. And to wrap things up, on the 40th anniversary of the releasing of this very famous live album, I tried to find Dyer O'Connor. I hadn't seen him in 40 years. And so I called Loyola, and they wanted to know why I wanted to know one of their alumni. And, I thought, well, I went to this famous concert, and I'd really like to track him down to thank him. It was a very memorable evening. And they said, okay, well, we'll get in contact with him, and we'll see if he can contact you. And about a week went by, and sure enough, I get a phone call from Dyer, and he said, hey, Chuck, it's Dyer O'Connor, how you doing? I said, wow, man, where are you? He goes, I'm in Colorado. I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm retired. You know, they just legalized marijuana out here. So that's my story. Too late to stop now.